Well, howdy folks. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I have another Happy Wife, Happy Life project for you today. You might be able to tell that I'm in the bathroom. No, I'm not using the bathroom. I'm going to do a project in here. Simple project, or at least that's what they expect you to believe. I'm going to change the bathroom faucet in here. Now, typically that's just a routine little project, not anything to it, but a couple of things that I want to watch for. I honestly have not even looked under the sink yet. Even though I installed this faucet years and years ago, I don't remember the shutoffs or anything like that. I haven't even cleaned the cabinet out, and I'm not going to show you that. But a couple of things that if you're thinking about changing your faucet and you haven't done it for a long time, just a couple things to consider. One of the first things you want to do is hire a plumber. But if you can't hire a plumber, then one of the next things you need to do is first check your shutoff valves under there. You know, when you hook up a faucet, you turn those on, and then they're usually not touched for a long time. It could be years before they're ever touched again. So they get hard water in there and calcium buildup and everything else. So you never know if they're even going to work or not. So that's always the first thing I recommend trying. Making sure your shutoffs work. If they don't work, then I recommend you go to the hardware store and you pick up a couple new shutoffs, because you're going to have to turn the water off to your house. Might as well change them then. The next thing that you need to check are your supply lines. If your supply lines are like a piece of pipe or PVC plastic, I'd recommend just changing them. Just get you some of those braided line supply lines. It never hurts to change them anyway if you're changing the faucet, because they're going to be on there for a long time. So number one, call the plumber. Number two, if you can't call the plumber, check your shutoff valves. Go get some if you need them. And while you're getting those, number three, check your supply lines and make sure those are okay. If you have those, then you're probably good to go. So I'm going to get this cleaned out down below, and then we're going to check out our shutoff valves and see what they're like. Anything to keep the little lady happy. So I guess before I get under that sink, I won't fit under there. Before I look under that sink, I should show you this is the faucet we're taking off. It's not bad. It still works fine, but it's outdated. So the one we're putting on is this one, the Pfister Rancho. It's a black faucet. They also make this one without the base, where the handles are just straight down into the countertop if you have that, or the sink top. So I'll put a link down below in the description if you're interested in this faucet. But that's the faucet we're going to use, and we're going to get it switched out here. Now, typically the hardest part about changing these faucets most of the time is literally getting down on the floor where you can get to it and getting your head and arms and things back in the cabinet. It's not easy for a 6'4", 200-pound guy. Just not easy. So I will say kudos to my wife. Everything that was under there is in baskets. And I just pulled the baskets out and was able to empty the vanity very quickly. There were a few bottles under there. Had an old curtain rod in there to hang the bottles on. Pretty cool. Good job, hon. Okay, so as you can see, this has been on here a long time. This is all corroded. As you can see, upon inspection, I'm definitely going to get some new supply lines, without a doubt. And more than likely, well, that one's turning. That's really surprising me that one is turning. But you can tell these are old. That felt like a quarter turn. If they're quarter turn, that's what I usually prefer. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, they're quarter turn. Let's just see how that did. So I'm lucky up top. I got a slight drip, but that's probably just because of the water that's in the line that opened up. So those actually work. I think I'm going to leave them. Oh, there, that one wasn't all the way off. So I got that one off. I think we're good. So I'm going to leave those, but I am going to need supply lines. And as you can see, the ones I put on before were 20-inch. I don't need 20-inch. I probably just had these, so that's why they're on here. Don't need them that long. So when you do the supply lines, of course, you're going to need a wrench. I'm just going to use a crescent wrench. You can use a regular wrench, whatever you want to do. And to get the faucet nut off, you're going to need either these, or I happen to have a faucet wrench that I might use if I need to. Or you can use any other pair of pliers or anything you can get up here. Might not even need anything. Sometimes you can break them free by hand. As old as mine is, I probably can't. The first thing I need to do is get the supply line off. So that broke loose, which is good, and I can do it with my fingers. Good. Not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Finally. Now once you get those off, you gotta get these off, and sometimes like that one just broke loose by hand. So maybe I'll get lucky on these. We shall see. So the faucet wrench saved the day on that one. The only thing I could get to break that loose. Okay, I think the hard part's done. And we can just pull that out. See if I can get off the floor. Oh! All right, so we're ready for the new faucet. Let's take these off here. We'll need those down below. But this one has a gasket under it, so we don't really need anything except to set that on there like that. We'll take these down below, screw that on. I always just do them hand tight. I got two 16-inch supply lines. All right, here we go, back down on the floor. Oh, I think maybe you can see that, but it's a little bit easier to do. Everything's clean. These have a rubber gasket inside them. Yeah, so you really just have to snug these. You don't really have to tighten them. And once those are tight, just put it on here, which can be hard. Make sure you have this straight on here and do not cross thread it. And you'll tell if you can cross thread it, because you'll only get a couple turns and then you're done. All right, I'm gonna get the other supply line on, and then we'll come back and check the faucet out and see if it works right. All right, I got all those hooked up, checked them for leaks, everything's dry, and I turned the shutoff valves back on. All right, so now I'm going to change this. Normally I wouldn't have tested that faucet like that because I would have wanted a silicone or something around there. But this is the new one, and it comes with a gasket. So I'm just going to use the gasket that's on here instead of silicone or plumber's putty. I'm going to try that, and I guess if it doesn't work, I'll have to redo it, but that's what I'm going to do. You know, they make these new ones somewhat tool-free because it has this big piece on here that turns. All right, so I got that drain out down there. I don't know if I caught it all because my battery went dead, but got that loose, and I just pull that up. Disgusting. I'm gonna throw it right in the trash can. Clean this up. So I got this rubber gasket on there. I'm gonna put this down in here, hopefully. And when we tighten that up, it'll suck that gasket down. And you want to make sure you have your pieces on here that you need as far as your slip fittings. Now I'm just going to reuse what I had if I can get it off of there. So we'll put this up here and this up here. So you have this cone shaped washer. It goes the cone side up on this. So I got to take this back off here. Cone side up. And then you have a plastic washer that goes on next. And then you have what holds that on with the flat side going up against that up there. And that's what will tighten this up. And you tighten that down. And that's what tightens that gasket down up above. And the cool thing about these is you just use your hand, really. I mean, they got it set up so you just get it nice and tight with your hand. And I messed up again. I don't think I can get those back on there. All right, take it back loose. That's one thing you have to remember, is to get all your parts where they need to be. And I didn't put these back on. Okay, do that again. Now for the test. So as you can see, that's seated down pretty good. So here we go. We're gonna run some water. See if we have any leaks. Plug it. So a good way to check for leaks in the drain is to plug your drain, run a bunch of water in. When it gets, quite a bit of water in there, then look at your drain down here and open it up. Let it flow. And I'm showing dry. All right, so there we go. There's a faucet installed and hooked back up. It's never as fun or as easy as it sounds, but we got it done. What do you think, Sonny? Did we get it done? Did we get the faucet done? Huh? Yep, I think we did. Thanks for the help. Bye. I'll leave a link to the faucet down below in the description if you're interested in this particular faucet, or look at some others as well as supply lines. Hey, I hope this helped you, and I pray that God blesses you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.